Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Michael Grass. This is the Grassroots 304 podcast, episode number 45. And tonight I got the guys here from Disco Risque sitting in here at the shop tonight. This is your all's second show and first time on the podcast, so welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us, Mike.
Yeah, awesome. Of course. Like I said earlier, I wanted to have you all on here last year that you played, but I think I was going through like a rough patch that week, and it's just like, it's just having a rough patch. So but I remember coming in, talking with you guys. You're real cool and humble, and you said next time you're in, we do it. So that's why I come up there earlier.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and say what's up. Of course. So tell me, you guys are from Charlottesville, Virginia,
Charlottesville,
right?
VA, baby. Don't believe the hype. It's a very, very sweet place to live.
Yeah? I've been there once for a show. I think I saw Mo there, actually, at the Jefferson.
Yep.
It's his folks, yeah.
I'm a big Mo guy.
Yeah, it's a cool spot. 200 shows. Wow.
Yeah, a lot of shows.
That is a lot of shows. You might beat Tara and Colby Caldwell.
Some of our earliest, one of our first shows was New Year's after party for Mo.
That's very true.
Yeah.
At Albany.
Albany.
Yeah. That was like literally before the first record came out. So that must have been 2014.
2014.
Yeah, 2014 New Year's. We played after Mo on the 30th.
Yep. This guy, Ryan, wasn't even in the band yet.
Yeah.
We had a buddy of ours sit in, and he got shit-faced.
Oh, wow.
We get there. Yeah, he rehearsed with us a few times before that. It sounded awesome. We're like, this is cool. He's a R&B kind of vocalist and a trombone player, and he had this cool R&B element to the vocals. It's like, this is great. As soon as we get up there, it's New Year's party to him, and he gets hammered drunk to where he doesn't really know where he is. We start the show, and we're just like, all right, let's see what happens. And he starts turning around and like to songs that he didn't even tell you the name of the song that we wrote. He's yelling that we're playing in the wrong key and stuff. Is so funny, man.
Like, this dude is drinking like 6-7 shots of Patron at dinner, and we don't play till after the show. So this is like 7 hours before. I'm like, man, hold on, are you planning on napping? Oh, that's not what happened.
Right. We're not naming any names because we're going to go to the real fun story. He by the end of the night, he got so shit-faced that he was screaming and yelling at his significant other, his girlfriend at the time, his old lady, and saying, if you don't bring me home on a plane right now, I'm going to do all the drugs in Albany. I'm leaving, going outside of this hotel, and I'm going to find the first drugs and all the drugs I can find immediately. I'm doing them all. And next thing you know, he's in a cab on the way to the airport.
I'll see you back in Charlottesville in a couple months.
Bizarre. It was very bizarre. I'll never forget it, man. I'll never forget him turning around. Wrong key! No, it's not, dude. Do you even know what we're playing? It was fun.
Man, that sounds like a story.
Yeah.
What a guy.
We got some time. We got some stories for sure.
Yeah, I normally ask people later on in the interview about some crazy stories from the road.
Oh, we're just getting started.
They can't help it.
Yeah.
But tell me about the origin of the band name Disco Risque and how it reflects your musical style and identity.
Another fun story. You want to take this one?
I mean, that's kind of
Okay. So Slim and I have been friends for, I guess, like we were saying, about 22 years now, and since we was kids.
A little bit.
We met in Roanoke, where we both were in our teenage years, and when we started playing music again in our, probably call that 15 years ago at this point, we were doing a lot of pickup projects, you know what I mean? Oh, who's available? We were definitely
mostly covers.
Yeah, a lot of covers, just really playing for a couple bucks and just playing to play, you know what I mean? And so it was a lot of different arrangements, and because of that, he and I were having a lot of fun with the names for the evening for these events.
The thing had a name. It was the Acoustic Carnival.
The Acoustic Carnival, and then
each show had a subtitle.
Yeah, it was like we
renamed the band of the night.
Like our buddy Matt Volks from People's Blues of Richmond played with us one night, and we called it Cardboard Birdcage. Yeah. And so we just in general tripods and short straws. Yeah, we just
if you don't know what that is.
Yeah, we
it's like super boofing.
Yeah, super boof, tripods and short straws. Don't forget it. So actually, Al from Mo played with tripods.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's cool.
I'm sure he'd love to forget that, but we remember. But in general, we were always just kicking around a lot of titles, mostly to entertain ourselves. And
at the time, we're talking about putting this band together. We want to start a band, like a real project of original music soon, within the next couple years. And
so one night he kind of dropped the Disco Risque title, and we both looked at each other and go, nope, might want to pocket that one. I think that one's staying on deck. So as far as people understanding the title and what they think is going to happen, why don't you actually, Ryan, take that one?
We definitely called it Disco Risque before we started writing anything. We're like, this is definitely going to be the name of the band.
Yeah.
Whatever we do with it, it's Disco Risque, because it just felt awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that kind of captures it took on a new meaning kind of later on, and I feel like Slim and I kind of talked about this, was like, it's the band is kind of, Disco Risque is where you end up when you come to the show,
when
you know.
Charlie and I came up with the title, it's like Disco Risque is going to be confusing because Disco Biscuits, you know, and you hear disco music, but Disco
we
Risque
had Disco last weekend play here.
There you go.
Disco play last weekend.
Yeah,
right.
We had them down at the Southern.
We're confusing.
Because there's also a Risky Disco DJ group.
Yeah,
true.
It was never to bite anybody else's ideas.
Yeah.
It was something we dropped. We really liked it, and then
It was
we
the
also
rhyming slang that felt good.
Yeah. We also really like the idea that, you know, when you come, you're not really sure what to expect.
That is Disco Risque.
Even us.
It's a place. You go to the Disco Risque where everyone's going to find something like, you might not want it all, but you're definitely going to find something you really want. Like there's something here that you're going to love.
And we try to be musically limitless in that time too. You know, you're really never sure what's going to come off the stage, and that's the way we really like to keep it.
Which is a weird line to do. Like, it's having your sound, which is something I think, especially in our last couple albums, we found the Disco Risque sound, and we know what that is, but we also want to be very, for lack of corn, genreless-ish. Yeah. You know, we play funk music, but we also play like metal, instrumental, also dance, also pop music. We write a lot of pop music. That's a whole other story where that kind of like boosted this whole album of pop music.
When people ask, we try to call it a funky rock and roll dance party.
That is our
that's been the one to go with when I go funky rock and roll dance party. You're gonna have a time. You know?
I do production. I'm a professional sound engineer, and when I'm talking to bands, they bring up, what do you do? That's my go-to, funky rock and roll dance party.
Yep.
That's where Disco Risque is.
Okay. So I read on your website it said pop rock funk.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, it's like that's still similar to what you're saying
It's
too.
probably
Yeah.
a drag and drop menu where they're like, what 3 genres do you like,
We get around.
Yeah.
Also, when we dropped Joke Squad, our last record, it was under metal on Apple Music.
It is
Metal.
an instrumental funk metal album.
And it is,
Which the
yeah.
album before that is a pop, like a pop funk album. And with a lot of heavy lyrics, heavy pop hooks. And then the follow-up album to that is this no hooks.
No lyrics.
There's one chorus and one song, and it's one word. And it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're into it.
Yeah. What's that album called again?
Joke Squad.
Joke Squad.
Get it on vinyl.
Yeah.
So that's actually a fun story too. Well, it's called Joke Squad. Let's let the people know.
Yeah, let's.
So Joke Squad originally, our former bassist kind of brought this to our attention. He likes just old, silly, stupid shit, especially like '80s stuff that was like relevant for the times, for the pop culture then, but now looking back and it's hilarious.
80s, 90s
And
jokes all day.
we have a song on Joke Squad called Sterling Sharp Cheddar. And it's because of that, Joke Squad is inspired by Sterling Sharp. This is an interview. It's an old football player, Sterling and Shannon Sharp. Okay. Sterling Sharp was in this interview, and they were talking about like his defense had struggled. Was it offense? The receivers specifically. Our receivers had struggled receivers for the Packers. They were calling us jokes. They said we're a bunch of jokes. Our receivers are a bunch of jokes. So I got everybody these Joke Squad hats. And they're hats that say Joke Squad. And he's pretty much saying, fuck you, we might be the underdog, but you're still going to be terrified to go up against us. And it's kind of like, we perpetually feel like the underdog, like most musicians do. And, you know, every musician's battle with thinking they're good enough and hoping everyone else does too. And, you know, being this underdog that's trying to turn their art into something monetarily beneficial for strangers.
And continuing on with the way that we like to get our kicks, John Bruner literally for my birthday that year got me a hat just like the Shannon or Sterling Sharp one that says Joke Squad in it in cursive, just like the ones they had made for the Packers.
Nice.
And the font became the album font.
Yeah.
The Joke Squad. So
I would like to think that that's probably like the sports specialties font. Those crisp 90s style hats with the big font on
exactly.
it. Cursive,
Yep. The very basic cursive.
Right.
100%.
That's what's up. Yeah.
We'll give you a vinyl. It's real obvious. Yeah,
okay. You know, it's on your website. It says it's a exciting blend of genres described as Tool on cocaine. So, can you give me a little bit more of a glimpse into the creative process behind this experimental genre-bending project?
Well, Joke Squad specifically took a long time to come out. In part because of the pandemic, but also in part because the songs were written over a long period of time. And another joking is that the artwork has our current bassist who didn't play a note on the whole album, but he made the cover. Okay. And so, like, where does the writing come from? I mean, everyone brings their own style to the table. And I think we've all got like pretty big ears, you know, like we're willing to listen to other people's ideas in the band and outside of the band, and we're hungry to try something. I think in general want to be known at large for being funky and heavy, but if you show up, you're going to get a taste of this, you're going to get a taste of that,
Right.
And we think that's a benefit.
We definitely grasp our willingness to collaborate. We definitely we know how important it is, because we've proven it time and time. We also do these like comedic videos to promote our shows, and we'll not really have much going, and as soon as we get together and just bounce a fraction of an idea off another one, a full idea forms, and then next thing you know, we have a hilarious video.
We're pretty big on, I think, making sure everyone gets a piece. I mean, we're famous for having, you know, we're talking about a section of song and be like, well, I've got this idea. Well, I've got this. It's like, okay, well, mine first, and then the next time we come around, we'll use both. So
we'll use both. That's the most.
Yeah, we'll use both is a very DR thing to say, and I don't know. Maybe we're bad at making decisions, but it's working so far.
Yeah.
No, it sounds
When we
good.
get
Humility,
together,
too, where
it
we're
just
like,
all works
This
out.
is we have a new song on our upcoming album. We'll talk about in a bit. And Sean, our keys player, came up to me and was like, "I've got this hook. It's trash, but I love this song." And we sat down and like, I wrote him a hook for it, and boom. And that's just kind of how we bought. Charlie and I started out doing the same thing. Just here's this. What do you think? Cool. Here's this.
So it's pretty simple. You're not really bumping heads too much on like what it should be or what it shouldn't be. It's
no.
We
and
really
it's
like, we like the back and forth.
Yeah.
That's actually one of my favorite things about writing in this band is that I don't ever really feel stuck because there's not a single person that I can't bounce ideas off of.
Right.
And it's gotten to a point where that's just gotten better over the years in a sense of being like, there's just so little ego in our writing these days, and it feels great. In our next record, you know, I think is going to be even more collaborative. You know.
Yeah, we'll get into that too. The one that after the one we have coming out, we got them on deck. But it's, I guess, lucky for me too. We write in the way that I like write the best. Right, I do my best writing. Like when Charlie and I first started this band, it was just me and Charlie, and I really appreciate. I don't know what like the traditional way to do it is, if there even is one, but he would write essentially full pieces of music, full songs, and he's here, write lyrics. And I'm like, that's what I want. I want this formula, this structure, and I'll bang lyrics out to this shit immediately. It's like humming in my head all day is one thing, but when I have like a set structure to write stuff to, that's really I can put the work in. And he writes some incredibly, like it's fantastic music that like really is musician nerd stuff too.
Right. Yeah.
Which is huge.
Yeah. Most of that's all over my head.
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell me, you can go back to Charlottesville. How's the local scene influence you guys to make your sound as the band come together?
Well,
do
Charlottesville I think it's a cool place to start a band because, like you said, there is a good scene there, but it's not so big you're gonna get lost. So I think that's a good place to start. I think, and Slim brought this up earlier, I think Disco Risque has always kind of seen itself as the dark horse of the Charlottesville music scene.
Why so?
When people show up and see Disco Risque, they get hooked like you would with any other band you love. But I think we've always kind of thought that people see us as like a little, you know, more like let's keep them at arm's length until they get to know us. Like, we're a bunch of goofballs. I mean, you've been sitting here with us and we're having a hard time not making jokes, right?
Yeah.
But I understand that the nature of the music that we play, which can be heavy and aggressive, and, you know, we're just five guys with also pretty big egos on stage, too. Like, it's five frontmen on the stage,
We get into
right?
character.
Yeah.
So we all see how that's kind of like an intimidating persona to approach. And for what it's worth, our current bassist was a hired gun around town on bass before he joined DR. And we were all really grateful that when he joined our band, he dropped a lot of work that he had. This band gave him the opportunity to really play aggressively instead of like root note stuff.
And he saved the band.
And he did. We needed a new bassist.
He was a hero.
Is this
But-
Champ?
This is Champ.
Baldy?
The
Andrew
Champ.
Holyfield, the champion.
Yeah.
I see him in the mirror over here.
Yeah.
But so
He's sneaking.
But so he would. There he is. But so he dropped these other projects to join this band, and I remember asking him, it's like, hey, bands talk behind the scenes, and like everyone has their favorites and people they don't like. What were all these other bands saying about DR?
Yeah, right.
Right? And he was like, honestly, they never really had anything bad to say about you musically. They just always thought you were partying too hard.
You're fucking crazy.
Which honestly, back then was probably more true. And also, amongst the things people are going to complain about you for being in the rock and roll scene, that's a pretty good one.
It's a great
Right, yeah.
And it was definitely way more before. And nothing's different unless I'm actually our stage presence got more aggressive now, but we definitely party way less than we used to.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't be able to tell if you're getting all that from stage. You're like, yeah, I'm not letting my daughter around these people.
So like you guys are big partiers. You got any pre-show rituals you do, or like anything after the show? Any?
I kind of wish we had more of a pre-show ritual because I think that would be helpful. But I don't. There's nothing. I like to warm up.
I like to do my hand exercises.
I like to warm up with my favorite songs and rewrite them using foul language.
I dig that. Yeah.
do a lot of that.
We do a whole lot of that.
Yeah, we don't really drink before we play anymore. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Have a couple over the course.
We have for sure. I mean, man, I think the last time we played Euler's Tavern out in Colorado. I mean,
But we like if one of us doesn't, none of us do, kind of thing. Like, and it's not like
on the same page. Yeah,
True.
Yeah, for sure.
We've gone on sober tour.
Yeah. Sober? That California sober?
Well, it's
We find out along the way what that means.
Okay.
We all had a really different idea of what that was supposed to be.
Yeah.
So the story there is we did have it was like a pretty heavy month of touring, and we were like, hey, let's try it different this time. Let's have sober tour. We're like, okay. And the first gig was kind of a one-off down in Georgia, but it was the first gig of the month, and we had definitely talked about this as like, we haven't even started the gig. Champ walks up and he's cracking a beer. And we're all like, Champ, what happened to sober tour? He's like, that doesn't start till next week. Like, what are the rules?
Right.
What are the rules? Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to pregame a little bit, before that, right?
Take the edge
I'll tell you
off.
what,
Yeah.
one thing we're not going to do is
Just
give
ease
each other
into it.
much of a hard time. If you need a fucking beer, hey, man.
But at the same time, we also we're not gonna put that hard time on each other either. Like, none of us is gonna get hammered because we want to when it's gonna be detrimental. Like, we're all pretty damn.
We want to play. We want to perform. The songs are not that easy.
Right. But you don't want to have like a redo of New Year's Eve all over again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Luckily, nobody in this band has ever done that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Don't want that. Oh, that 2014 New Year's.
Yeah.
That's the watermark, the high watermark.
That was a good place. That was a good thing to see in the beginning.
Look how far you've come now.
Exactly.
It's been a ride.
People are still yelling about the keys to songs.
I was looking on Spotify earlier, see what one of the most popular songs is. At least people think so. And pre-fluff party fife.
That's
There you
it.
go.
Fluff Party Fight.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a tongue twister there. That's one of the popular tracks. Can you share some inspiration behind the name of that?
I got you on that. Sure. That was actually a song I wrote musically for the woman I date now. But we were friends for a very long time before we got together. And we have a couple songs in our catalog that have just... the beginning idea of them was me trying to write a song for my friend. You know what I mean? And so I was like, what would this person like? And, as someone who does a lot of writing, I'm always looking for different inspirations just to spark the wick. You know what I mean? Once I get something started, I can roll.
Right.
But Pre-Fluff Party Fife was musically, hey, what would this woman want out of a song? And we were friends. We were actually friends from Motour. And we used to spend a lot of time together. And I was like, I wrote this piece. And then Ryan and I when I went over to his house, we were not partying, hanging out at his house, and we were kind of like, I'd been hearing a lot of falsetto vocals, and that was in my head, and I was like, I'd really love like a falsetto chorus, and he and I were just kind of also had this like Justin Timberlake-esque persona and idea of what we wanted to get out of. We wanted it to be sellable, likable, and just something that really jumped out.
Trying to bring sexy back.
Yeah, we're trying to bring sexy back. Yeah, and so. As we were getting into it that day, we really just co-wrote the lyrics, and everything just really came together very quickly for us, and we were really fortunate. And then when we got it slim, put the final touches on it, and then we got the falsettos, and it was just something that really came together very quickly. And
that song's actually had two lives in the sense that there's a version on our second full length, which is Pre-Fluff Party Five.
If you don't like it,
and then we re-released it as a single a couple summers later. And we actually re-recorded the whole track from the ground up, and that's the one that has gotten the most attention. But it used to have these instrumental bookends to bring it in and exit. That it's been years since we've played the original
Getting
cut.
back to the original writing, this was something that I knew would be really cool for the song. You know, this
Right.
is something this woman would really dig. You know, and I was like, she'll love these sections. And you know, it definitely did work in a couple directions.
She's proud of that tune.
It's been a popular tune, and she's a great woman in my life. You know, the best.
Okay. Do we touch on the name of that though? Why you named it that?
Ooh, that's a little sketchy.
How sketchy are we allowed to be?
You can drop it. I don't care.
All right, so I had these friends up in the Northeast that what they would call pre-fluff is when they would take rock hard drugs and put them in the microwave.
What kind of drugs?
Ketamine, things like that.
Okay, gotcha.
And put them in the microwave with water.
Dunbar PD.
So that so that they would soften up and be easier on their nose.
Okay,
You know what
gotcha.
I mean? And so pre-fluff, Party Fife, was just a
regular
boom, boom, boom. Yeah, it was just like a ketamine party with somebody's last name in it. You know?
Okay,
And so
interesting.
It was just, you know, it sounded good when I wrote it down.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. So I was
It was one of the working titles that stayed as the title.
yeah. I
Pre-fluff.
don't think it was ever supposed to be the title.
Right.
And then it was just like, well,
PF.
kind of pops.
Yeah.
And now, you know, it's a staple. We gotta play it at every acoustic gig we play it. You know, it's the one.
It's
so.
the one.
Okay.
We'll play it tonight.
We're proud of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard of something similar to that, but somebody chasing the dragon with some fluff that came out of the microwave. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, it's. I don't know that you'd want to chase the dragon with
I was gonna
ketamine.
say, I don't-
man. That might be super dangerous.
Pretty easy to
Sounds
lose that
like fun
dragon.
ride.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Forget about dragons.
K-holes.
Yeah.
Interesting experience.
Probably got time for one more question.
We got a little. You know.
Yeah, let's see here. We actually, it's funny, you guys answered some of them without me even having to say it, so I breezed through half of it already with some of these questions.
Can't stop us from talking.
You did say you like to talk, so yeah. Let's see, as a band, what are your goals and aspirations for the future, both in terms of musical exploration and in career milestones?
Perfect.
Thoughts?
Oh, well, I'm saying it just kind of brings us around to our upcoming album we have coming out. We have an album called Evil on Tape. It's our foremost thing. We're working with some new people, getting some new avenues of booking, and we're a touring band. Like, to get the best out of us is our live show. If you want to become a fan of us, you want to see why people are fans of us, you got to see us live.
Right.
And our albums are one thing, our live shows are another. They aren't too dissimilar, but like there is a difference. And our new album is a big complement to that. It's another, as Charlie likes to say, a graduated form of us, a graduated version of us. We recorded at Haunted Hollow Studios, which is owned by the Dave Matthews Band.
Oh, okay.
And so it's this like beautiful studio with top of the line everything. And we had buddies, like one of my engineering heroes like helped us produce it, and another like local legend in Charlottesville that just started working as their booth guy helped us produce it too. Thanks, Jeff. And it's just, Jeff, Andy, you guys are the best.
It was such an incredible experience.
Yeah, and so that's going to be coming out this summer. Not exactly sure when, but it's all wrapped up. It's ready to roll. He knows. He knows I'll spill the beans, so he won't tell me. So we're working on promo now, and this album, it's the early disco risque, young angsty disco risque, kind of without maybe even consciously doing it, pushed back on the necessity of being a radio band, and wanted to do what we wanted to do, which is why our first album is 2 discs worth of 20-minute songs and shit. It's 19 tracks.
Wow.
Our
Impressive.
debut album is a double album, and it's a lot of like big instrumental mathy stuff. And our next album kind of was a blend of the mathy into the pop stuff. This through another instrumental rowdy, way more polished funk album. Now we have this like full of, like, there might be 6 singles on this new album, and it's really toned up and polished and produced so well that it's like this is the album we think is the right one to get Gen Pop's attention,
And
to really get everybody's
A
attention.
word that I feel like you've used in the past is this is kind of an emotional disco
It is.
album.
We're goofballs, and this
We've written
one,
kind of from the heart. The songs are pretty serious. I mean, there maybe is a little humor in it, but it's not a funny. It's not. We're not making jokes. Okay. But being true to form, though, we do have another project lined up down the tube from that. That's going to get back to having a real good time.
Yeah, but it's felt good to do something a little more emotional. I mean, Evil on Tape, the name of the new album, that is like a kind of a figure of speech for like, don't forget how you treat people, because down the road, like it's going to affect like how the kindness or that
karma,
the shit you put out. Yes, it's essentially karma. Evil on Tape is about karma and the stuff we've dealt with in relationships, and whether it's like significant other or whoever or friends or whatever, and how you took the good or the bad and absolutely made it a better thing for you, and not just made you sour or resentful or tell yourself these horrible stories that don't really exist. You just tell yourself the right story that makes you your best self. Right. And Evil on Tape is like, don't forget, like what you do can affect people. You might just be an asshole one day to somebody that you wish if you knew them and could go follow their story, you would really regret being an asshole. So it's just, don't forget that like we're supposed to treat each other well.
Yeah, it's the golden rule: treat others how you want to be treated.
Exactly.
Whether or not you're that's a Christianity thing, the golden rule, but like that applies to anybody. You just want to treat others.
My family's never been Christian.
Right. Yep. Exactly. Right.
Never been Christian. My family's never been Christian, but I've absolutely always had the golden rule, just like that. And that is exactly. It's funny you said that. It's exactly what. There's some themes, literal themes of the golden rule throughout the album.
My grandfather used to always say, "It's nice to be nice." And when I was a kid, I was always like, "What this fucking guy?" As I've gotten older, I'm like, it's like the easiest, best advice I've ever heard.
Absolutely,
it is
absolutely.
Right.
And get in touch with what's making you not be nice, like,
You got to figure out where that bitterness comes from.
Yeah, exactly. Deal with it. Yeah,
right.
And remember, we all deal with that stuff. So
everybody has their up and downs, right? Hey, think about
but don't forget, we deal with it more.
Hey, it happens. Hey, think about being out on the road and then you meet a fan for the first time, and maybe you've had a shitty day, like traffic sucked or like whatever, and then you're kind of like short with somebody, and then they go back home and they're like, that guy's kind of a dick. You're like, whatever.
How do nervous fans react? Like, they're nervous.
Right, yeah.
So you might not even know they're a fan or even want to talk to you. They just might be.
Exactly.
So, exactly. Be aware. Mindfulness, awareness.
Mindfulness, I like that.
And kick ass. Just try to kick some ass at what you do.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, actually 2 more questions, but one, you got some upcoming shows anywhere in particular, like this summer, maybe like some festivals or venues that you're really looking forward to playing?
Well, right now we've got some hometown gigs. April 12th, we'll be back in Charlottesville at Pro Renata. With a kind of a special acoustic set to open things up. Like Disco Risque doesn't ever play acoustic, so that's going to be a special one to catch if you're in town.
Yeah.
And then we've got some business at the end of May where we'll be. Actually, we're getting back out to Louisville for the first time in a while at a place called Melwood Tavern. They do really cool Sunday shows when the weather gets nice. They do it outside.
Nice.
And we've been trying to get one of those for a while, so I'm personally, that's on my radar.
Look up discorisque.com and like all of our Disco Risque everywhere, and we'll have like the Evil on Tape touring stuff up pretty soon once we announce this big monstrosity.
We got a lot on deck. We're excited for it too.
A lot for 2024.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Getting after it.
Yeah.
A lot of good music coming out, a lot of aspiration.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us on.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, and you guys keep your eyes peeled, keep your eyes loaded, peeled. Keep them peeled. Yeah.
Stay loaded.
Stay loaded, get peeled, right.
Yeah.
Hang out, Mike. Get grassy.
Yeah, of course, if this was live, then you can come out and see them tonight here at the shop, 1233 Ohio Avenue in Dunbar, West Virginia, and see what Disco Risque is all about.
This was live. We'd have got naked.
Naked. As long as we're not doing circle jerks back here, it's all good.
Not yet.
Just keep that camera on.
Circle jerks, pizza.
Yeah! Cool. I think we gotta get ready for the show.
All right, one more question, but this is for Ryan. Okay. Ryan, has anybody told you you've got a doppelganger?
Tell me about it.
No. With the mustache right now, you've got a Ben Stiller from what's that movie, Dodgeball? Yeah, you got the Ben Stiller vibe going on.
Right.
Nobody makes me bleed my blood.
Awesome.
All right,
yeah, thanks guys.
From
Appreciate
Dunbar
it.
to Santiago, thanks man.
Of course.
Santiago right back at it.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Oh, go ahead. Go right on ahead. Yeah, not a problem. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate it. If you want to check out more episodes of the podcast, just search for the Grassroots 304 podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Soon to be on Spotify and anywhere else that you listen to podcasts and music at. So, thanks again. Y'all have a great night. See you next time. Peace.